hands of the king. It brought about the necessity of cooperation between the kingship and the priesthood. New 27. 18-21 Jehovah made known his will to Israel by his written word, also by prophets and by dreams. But it seems that prophets and dreams were used for special occasions, whereas the high priest with the Urim and the Thummim was always present with the people. Use ceased in 607 BCE according to Jewish tradition. Use of the Urim and the Thummim ceased when Jerusalem was desolated and her temple destroyed in 607 BCE by the Babylonian armies under King Nebuchadnezzar. Babylonian Talmud, Sotha 48b. This view is supported by what we read regarding these objects in the books of Ezra and Nehemiah. There, certain men who were claimants to priestly descent, but who could not find their names in the public register, were told that they could not eat from the most holy things provided for the priesthood until a priest stood up with Urim and Thummim. But there is no record of their use at that time, and thereafter the Bible makes no further reference to these sacred objects. As to 61-63. NE 7. 63-65. Greater High Priest consults Jehovah. Jesus Christ is described in Paul's letter to the Hebrews as the great king priest according to the manner of Melchizedek. Hope 6. 19, 20. 7. 1-3 In him kingship and priesthood are combined. His priestly work was foreshadowed by that of the high priest of ancient Israel. Hope 8. 3-5. 9. 6-12 All judgment of mankind is committed into his hands as such a high priest. Job 5. 22 Nevertheless, when on earth Jesus declared, "The things I say to you men I do not speak of my own originality, but the Father who remains in union with me is doing his works." Job 14. 10 And I do nothing of my own initiative, but just as the Father taught me I speak these things. Job 8. 28 Also, he said, "If I do judge, my judgment is truthful, because I am not alone, but the Father who sent me is with me." Job 8. 16 Certainly in his exalted heavenly position, perfected as high priest forever, he continues in this course of subjection to his Father, looking to him for guidance in judgment. Hope 7. 28. Compare 1 Co 11. 3. 15. 27, 28. Utensils. The Hebrew term kli is very broad in its application and can refer to articles ge 24. 53. X3. 22. La 13. 49, 52, 57-59. 15. 4, 6, Implements ge 27. 3, Goods ge 31. 37, Receptacles ge 42. 25. 43. 11, Equipment ge 45. 20, Instruments ge 49. 5. 1 ch 15. 16, Furnishings x 25. 9, Utensils x 25. 39. 27. 3, 19. 30. 27, 28. 31. 7-9, Vessels la 6. 28. 11. 32-34, Gabda 22. 5, Weapons JG 9. 54. 18. 11, 16, 17, Luggage 1 to 10. 22, Baggage 1 to 17. 22, Bags 1 to 17. 40, 49, Organisms 1 to 21. 5, and Tools 1 Chi 6. 7. Often kli designates the various utensils used in connection with the sanctuary. These utensils included such items as dishes, pitchers, shovels, bowls, forks, fire holders, extinguishers, snuffers, basins, and cups. X 25. 29, 30, 39. 27. 3, 19. 37. 16, 23. 38. 3. 1 Chi 7. 40-50. 2 ch 4. 11-22 being used for a sacred purpose, these utensils were holy. 1 Chi 8. 4 Accordingly, since the Jews who left Babylon in 537 BCE were privileged to carry with them the sacred utensils that King Nebuchadnezzar had taken from Jerusalem, they had to keep themselves otextoi acute muritra longo. Uzi 1145 Utai. 1. A post-exilic resident of Jerusalem. Descendant of Judah through Perez. 1 Ch 9. 3, 4. 2. Head of a paternal house among the sons of Bive, who came with Ezra to Jerusalem in 468 BCE as rate. 1, 14. Uz. 1. The son of Aram and great-grandson of Noah through Shem. Ge 10. 22, 23. 1 Ch 1. 17. 2. Firstborn son of Nahor and Milcah. Nephew of Abraham. Ge 22. 20, 21. 3. Son of Dishon and descendant of Zer the Horite. Ge 36. 20, 21, 28. 4. Homeland of Job 1. 1. Settled by Uz, but it cannot be stated with certainty whether that Uz was Aram's son or Nahor's son. Ge 10. 22, 23. 22. 20, 21 Its exact location is unknown. Uz seemingly was near Edom, allowing for a later extension of Edomite domain into Uz, or for some later Edomites to be dwelling in the land of Uz, as is indicated at Lamentations 4. 21. Jeremiah was commissioned to pass the cup of God's wrath to all the kings of the land of Uz, and the immediate context includes references to Philistia, Edom, Moab, and Ammon. J 25. 15, 17, 20, 21 Job's homeland was vulnerable to attack by Sabeans from the S and Chaldeans from the E. Job 1. 15, 17 Taken together, these factors would indicate a location near the Promised Land and near Edom, somewhere in Arabia. Use a shortened form of Azaniah. A man whose son Palal helped Nehemiah to rebuild Jerusalem's wall. Ne 3. 25. Uzal. 1. The sixth named of Joktan's 13 sons, and also the tribe descended from him. Ge 10. 26-29. 1 Ch 1. 21 According to Arabian tradition, Sanaa, capital of the Republic of Yemen, was anciently called Azal and was connected with Uzal. 2. A place referred to in connection with Tyre's traders, at Ezekiel 27. 19. A suggested identification is the region Azala, in Eni Syria, near the upper Tigris River. Uzaz is possibly a shortened form of Uzza, meaning my strength is Jehovah. 1. A Benjamite. 1 Ch 8. 1, 7. 2. A name connected with a garden. Kings Manasseh and Amon of Judah were buried in the garden of Uzzah instead of the usual royal burial places. 2 Chi 21. 18, 23, 26 Neither Uzzah nor the garden are otherwise known. Since persons were buried there, the place could not have been in the temple grounds, and since the royal palace adjoined the temple, the house of Manasseh in the garden of Uzzah may have been a summer residence. 3. Head of a family of Nethinim, some of whom returned to Jerusalem with Zerubbabel in 537 BCE as 2. 1, 2, 43, 49. Ne 7. 51. Uzaz is possibly a shortened form of Uzzah, meaning my strength is Jehovah. 1. Amorite Levite. 1 Ch 6. 29. 2. A son of Abinadab, undoubtedly Levite. Uzzah and his brother Ahir led a wagon carrying the Ark of the Covenant from their house when David wanted it brought to Jerusalem. When the bulls pulling the wagon nearly caused an upset, Uzzah reached out and grabbed hold to steady the ark, for which Jehovah struck him dead on the spot. David named the place Perez Uzzah because there Jehovah had broken through in a rupture against Uzzah. 2 6. 3-8. 1 Ch 13. 7-11. Notwithstanding Uzzah's presumably good intentions to prevent the ark from falling, it was judged as an irreverent act. 2-6. 7. This was because deliberate disobedience was involved. Jehovah had instructed that under no circumstances was the ark to be touched by unauthorized persons, a warning of public knowledge that carried with it the death penalty for violators. New 4. 15, 19, 20 had authorized ones, Kohathite Levites, carried it with the poles on their shoulders as God had directed, God's anger would not have been incurred. Acts 25. 13, 14. New 7. 9. Usen Shi'era Zen Shi middle. Possibly, Ear of Shi'era. A city that Shi'era, an Ephraimite woman, built. In what sense she built is not stated. Perhaps this was in the sense of her contributing in some major way to the progress and development of it as well as other places listed. 1ch7. O textoi acute miritra longo, Uzziah 1146-5. Overseer of the Levites in Jerusalem sometime after the exile. Descendant of Asaph. N 11. 22. 6. Head of the priestly paternal house of Judea during the time of High Priest Jeshua's successor Joachim. N 12. 1, 12, 19 possibly identical with no. 7. 7. A priest positioned with Nehemiah at the temple for the inauguration of Jerusalem's rebuilt wall. N 12. 27, 40-42 perhaps the same person as no. 6. Uzziah's middle. Zia shortened form of Uzziah. A mighty man in David's forces. Uzziah was an Ashtorethite, that is, probably from the town of Ashtaroth of the Jordan. 1ch 11. 26, 44. Jos 9. 10. Uzziah's middle. Zia my strength is Jehovah. 1. A Kohathite Levite. Son of Uriel. 1ch 6. 22-24. 2. One whose son Jonathan was an official of King David. 1ch 27. 25. 3. King of Judah, also called Azariah. The son of Amaziah by his wife Jecholiah, Uzziah is credited with a reign of 52 years 829-778 BCE. During this period Jeroboam II, Zechariah, Shallum, Menahem, Pekahiah, and Pekah ruled in succession over the northern kingdom. 2 Kai 15. 1, 2, 8, 10, 13, 14, 17, 23, 25, 27. 2ch 26. 3 The prophets Isaiah 1. 1. 6. 1, Hosea 1. 1, Amos 1. 1, and perhaps Joel were contemporaries of Uzziah. This king's reign witnessed an unusually great earthquake. Zech 14. 5. After the death of his father, 16-year-old Uzziah was made king by the people of Judah. 2 Kai 14. 21. 2ch 26. 1 According to 2 Kings 15. 1, however, Uzziah became king in the 27th year of Israelite King Jeroboam II. As this would place the beginning of Uzziah's rule approximately 12 years after the death of his father, this must refer to his becoming king in a special sense. It may be that in the 27th year of King Jeroboam, the two-tribe Judean kingdom was freed from subjection to the northern kingdom, a subjection that perhaps began when Israelite King Jehoshaphat defeated Uzziah's father Amaziah. 2ch 25. 22-24 So it may be that Uzziah became king a second time in the sense of being free from the domination of Israelite King Jeroboam II. Uzziah did what was upright in Jehovah's eyes. This was largely because he heeded the good instruction of a certain Zechariah, not the prophet by that name, who lived in a later period. But his subjects continued improper sacrificing at high places. 2 Kai 15. 3, 4. 2ch 26. 4, 5. Uzziah became famous for his military successes, attained with Jehovah's help. He restored Elath to the kingdom of Judah and rebuilt that city located at the head of the Gulf of the Kaaba. He warred successfully against the Philistines, breaking through the walls of Gath, Jabneh, and Ashdod, after which he built cities in the territory of Ashdod. Uzziah gained victories over the Arabians and Munim, and he made the Ammonites tributaries to Judah. His powerful, well-equipped fighting force came to consist of 307,500 men under the control of 2,600 heads of paternal houses. Uzziah strengthened the fortifications of Jerusalem and built engines of war there. 2 Chi 14. 22. 2 Ch 26. 2, 6-9, 11-15. This king also had great interest in agriculture and raising livestock. Uzziah hewed out many cisterns to provide an ample water supply for the livestock and erected towers in the wilderness, likely to protect the grazing herds and flocks from marauders. Farming and vine-dressing operations were carried on under his direction in the mountains and in Carmel. 2 Ch 26. 10. It appears that Uzziah's brilliant successes resulted in his becoming haughty to the point of invading the holy compartment of the temple to burn incense. High priest Azariah, accompanied by 80 under-priests, immediately followed the king into the temple and censured him for this unlawful act, urging him to leave the sanctuary. With the censer for burning incense in his hand and raging against the priests, Uzziah was miraculously stricken with leprosy in his forehead, whereupon the priests excitedly ushered him out of the temple. As an unclean textoi acute muritra longo, Valley 1147 foreign wives in compliance with Ezra's exhortation. As 10. 10, 11, 21, 44. 5. A descendant of Judah through Perez, whose son Athiah is listed among the residents of Jerusalem in Nehemiah's time. Ne 11. 4. Uzziah middle. El God is strength. 1. Last named of Kohath's 4 sons. Grandson of Levi. Uncle of Moses and Aaron. Uzziah's 3 sons, Mishael, Elizaphan, and Sithri, became heads of tribal families in Levi. Acts 6. 16, 18, 20, 22. La 10. 4. U 3. 19, 30. 1 Ch 6. 2, 18. 23. 12. See Uzzielites. 2. Family head in the tribe of Benjamin. Son or descendant of Bela. 1 Ch 7. 6, 7. 3. Levite musician of the family of Heman, appointed to head David's 11th musical service division. Also called Azarel. 1 Ch 25. 1, 4, 18. 4. Levite descendant of Jeduthun who helped dispose of the unclean objects removed from the temple at the beginning of Hezekiah's reign. 2 Ch 29. 12, 14, 16. 5. One of 4 Simeonite sons of Ishi who led 500 men into Mount Seir to wipe out the remnant of Amalekites and take up living there. A contemporary of Hezekiah. 1 Ch 4. 41-43. 6. A goldsmith who helped repair Jerusalem's wall under Nehemiah's direction. Son of Harhiah. Ne 3. 8. Uzzielites as middle.ites of belonging to Uzziel. Levite descendants of Kohath's 4th son Uzziel. U 3. 19, 27. They camped to the east of the tabernacle, and one of the Uzzielites, Elizaphan, was chieftain of all the Kohathites. U 3. 29, 30. 112 Uzzielites under Aminadab accompanied the Ark of the Covenant when David had it brought to Jerusalem. 1 Ch 15. 3, 4, 10 Uzzielites were further involved in David's organization of temple service. 1 Ch 23. 6, 20. 24. 24. 26. 23, 24. Vahib. Apparently a now unknown place near the Arnon, in Sapar. New 21. 14. Vizhava middle.Zitha. One of Haman's 10 sons. As 9. 9, 10. Valley. A depression between bluffs, hills, or mountains. Jehovah God is properly credited with the development of Earth's topographical features, including its many valleys. PS 104. 8 in Scripture, some were called merely valleys. Jos 8. 11. 1 to 13. 18 others were valley plains, low-lying level areas between mountains and hills. 11. Sea plain. There were also torrent valleys, sometimes having perennial streams, but often flowing with water only in the rainy season. 8. 7. Sea torrent valley. Certain translations use vale or valleys where the references are to low plain SGE 14. 3. 1 ch 12. 15, and vale or lowland S for the Shafela, the hilly lowland between the Philistine coastal plain and the highlands of central Palestine. 1. 7. 1 Chi 10. 27. Among the notable valleys mentioned in the scriptures are the valley of Moab in front of Beth Peada 3. 29. 34. 6 in the valley of Salt 2 8. 13, as well as those of Hinnom 11. 30, Yiptaeljos 19. 14, Spoim 1 13. 18, and Zaphathar 2 ch 14. 10. The valley plains of scriptural record include those of Shinar G 11. 2, Jericho 34. 3, Mizpeh 11. 8, Lebanon 12. 7, Ono 6. 2, and Megiddo 2 ch 35. 22. Zek 12. 11. Figurative and prophetic use. A dark valley, a ravine, with pitfalls and wild beasts would be perilous to a flock, especially at night, were it not for the care of a good shepherd. Though similarly faced with the threat of various calamities, David was secure in the knowledge that Jehovah was his shepherd. Therefore, he could declare, "Even though I walk in the valley of deep shadow, I fear nothing bad." PS 23. 1, 4. The pronouncement of the Valley of the Vision evidently relates to ancient Jerusalem. Though at considerable elevation, the city is like a valley in being surrounded by high mountains. Isra 22. 1, 5. Evidently by clearing out all obstacles that stood in the way of the return of his people from Babylonian exile, Jehovah, in effect, raised up every valley, leveled hills and mountains, and made rugged Otex to acute Miritra Longo. Valley Gate 1148 Valley Gate. Sea Gate, Gateway. Valley of Hinnom. Sea Hinnom, Valley of. Valley Plain. Sea Plain. Vani of Amidal.nir. Post-exilic son of Beni. He and numerous other persons had married foreign wives, but dismissed them at Ezra's admonition. Ez 10. 10, 11, 34, 36, 44. Vapor. Sea mist. Vashti Vashti. The queen of Ahasuerus I the king of Persia. In the 3rd year of his reign, Ahasuerus called in all the nobles, princes, and servants from the jurisdictional districts. At the end of the conference, he held a 7-day banquet. Similarly, Vashti held a banquet for the women at the royal house. On the 7th day, Ahasuerus ordered his court officials to bring in Vashti in royal headdress, that all might see her loveliness. It seems that the queen would ordinarily eat meals at the king's table, but history does not give proof of this as being the case at great banquets. Besides, at the time, Vashti was holding a banquet with the women. For some unstated reason, Vashti persistently refused. Ahasuerus turned to his wise men who knew the law, and he was advised by Memucan, a prince, that it was not the king alone that Vashti had wronged but also all the princes and people in the jurisdictional district.